Gotta get the dance on here. Ba-doom bum ba doom boom. Ba-doom bum bum boom. Ba-doom bum boom boom. Ba-doom bum bum bum. Hey, Zul. Gotta do not disturb my phone here. Hey, Landry says, I'm back, Ascons. We already got some store members showing up here. Zul, Landry, Angel. Here we go. Sitting in a work van at the ER. Whoa. That sounds serious. Gloria, you are early. Heather, thank you so much for the rose already. Carolyn, hey, how are you doing? Mr. Christopho, loving the vibe. Heck yeah. Lady Van Lendingham, you got the notification this time? Heck yes. Bleach the Kids, thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate that. Heather, glad to see you there. Randall, good to see you there. Thor, hello from England. Tiffany, hello. Revy Gunslinger, hello. Bleach the Kids, it's party time. Dusty party time. Lauren, hey. Roz, good to see you. Nursey Dear, of course. Good to see you. Happy afternoon to you as well. Annie, hello. Inez Kendall, good to see you. Megan, good to see you. Donna, good to see you. Avi, thank you so much for the roses. Bella, thank you for the roses. Appreciate that. Caitlin, hello from Bulgaria. Oi. I've got a friend who's got a really good, we think, Bulgarian accent. We'd have to test that on you to find out. Millie Reyes, Sean, good to see you. Unstable internet connection. There we go. Already. Already got the message. Already got the message from TikTok. It's like, stop doing whatever you're doing. Welcome to the stream. Cindy, it's good to see you. Tamara, good to see you. Tamara. I've heard it both ways. Nursey, thank you for sharing the live. Jerry, welcome. Ao, welcome. Megan, thank you for sharing the live as well. Suzanne from Germany, hello. Ryan Stacy, good to see you. Millie, good to see you. Sarah D, good to see you in London there. Nursey D is here, of course. Thank you so much. He's a 906-373-1061-163 from Wisconsin. Hello. Catherine, hi. TV, how are you doing? Simply Sherry, good to see you. Laura, good to see you. Send me the hand wave. Thank you so much. Roz with the lightning bolts. I am already way behind. So, sorry. It's so good to see all of you here. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the regularly scheduled programming. Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on TikTok. Dusty Thunder Live. I, of course, have my, first time I'm wearing my Nick Miller from New Girl Panic Moon Walk shirt here. A new Uncandy Thunder found for me. I'm excited about this one. Got to get my Jock coffee going. Not going. This has been going all day. Thank you so much for the lightning bolt. Use a 906. Appreciate that. You guys are awesome. So glad to have you here today. We have so much to talk about. So many great stories, of course, farmed by the one and only Tony Spark here. Slight smile reaction from that. We are excited. I scrolled through as I was just putting my notes in between stories and saw a few of the titles, and there are some interesting ones today. There are some very interesting ones. Hey, Shaner, if you have a sync going, will you pause your drive sync as well? Dang. So TikTok live stream always has an issue with my my internet connection, which should be blazing fast, but sometimes it just don't. Sometimes I just don't like to do it. I'll pause my sync as well just to make sure. I shouldn't have anything syncing. Can't kill any more programs, so we'll just have to make it work with what we got. If you get glitchy, I'm sorry. I've done everything I can. Calicopia, thank you so much for the voice compliment there. The soothing voice. We have talked about doing some other some bedtime story kind of content, and we will get to it eventually. We just haven't got to it yet. We haven't figured it out. Thunder time, Diana. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Ayo, good to see you in Chicago there. It's Chicago. Yeah, Nick Miller's from Chicago. User 925 with the your shirts are epic comment. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. Cammy Courts, member of the Storm in Washington. Hello. Love to see you there. Katie loves the shirt as well. Lucy from Ireland. Hello. And we've got another Lucy in Germany. Good to see you both. We got some UK love up in here. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate that. Bedtime stories will come eventually, Jade. Yes. Eventually. We've just got to find the right stories. I really want to write my own, but that requires finding time to do that. Time. Gosh. Thank you for the love on the studio lighting. It is bright. I'm standing now, too, for lives, which is a little bit different, and it creates a little bit of a different lighting ambiance here as well. And, of course, we've got the cool new backdrop with the shelves that have been installed recently, and there are little new additions showing up all the time now. This is a new one from Candy Thunder. A Moira-ism. Stop acting like a disgruntled pelican. Here's another one. I'm positively bedeviled with meetings, etc. She's always finding me cool stuff to add to the shelves now. It's gonna be great. Oh boy. Naomi, thank you so much for the love. Appreciate that. From Chile. Awesome. Amazing and pretty, respectfully. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hey, Jill, subscribed for month 1. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the Storm there. With the auto renewal. Awesome. Love that. Welcome to the Storm. A brief explanation about the Storm. It is our VIP group. Once you become a paid subscriber on TikTok Live, you get all kinds of benefits from it. After the stream ends, I will send an invite to all of the new members. You get the ability to direct message with me, and you get an invite to become a part of the Storm, the VIP group on Facebook, which we do talk to a lot. And we've got some notes for that group later on in the stream here. But we want to dive right in with the story. Are you all ready? Are you ready? Jill's back with the team. Welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to. It just came out weird. That's going to happen today. I have me a feeling. All right, we're going to dive into our first story here. This one is a follower submission. So, OP, if you happen to be in the room here and want to raise your hand, let us know. Nursey, go Chiefs. Heck yeah. Bets, thank you for the telescope. Appreciate that. All right, let's rock and freaking roll. Am I the astronaut if I hire a dog walker, even though my roommate asked me not to? This one goes like, this hair is just driving me crazy. Get out of my face, hair. Get out of my face. My 23 female roommate, 21 female, and I have lived together for about 7 months now. We've known each other for a little over a year. We used to work together. That's how we met. Generally speaking, she's a nice person, but she's not a great roommate or coworker. She's lazy, sloppy, inconsiderate, and unreliable, and her integrity is almost non-existent. Well, we'll just go ahead and start this right off the rip here. How about that? I'm toughing things out until our lease is up at the end of the summer, and then I'm getting my own place. I work full-time, 4 days a week, and my shifts are about 10 to 11 hours. And I have a dog who's about a year old. Since he's young and healthy, he can usually go a good chunk of time without a walk, but 12 hours, factoring in commute time, is a really long stretch. Plus, he's young and playful, so I hate leaving him home alone all day. For context, I try not to come home midday myself because I work as a vet tech in an animal shelter and spend my day around several highly contagious diseases, so I have to strip, shower, and change at the end of the day before I interact with him and my cat in order to prevent getting them sick. And all that within my 1 hour lunch break plus commute time and walk time is just not very realistic. 2 out of those 4 days a week, he goes to daycare, but I can't put him in the other 2 both for financial reasons and the daycare's hours of operation certain days is not lining up with my schedule. I have asked my roommate to walk my dog for me the other 2 days with compensation, of course, and I don't ask for anything crazy. Just a quick lap around the apartment complex, maybe 10 minutes max, so he can do his business and get a little fresh air. She's very willingly agreed, and I thanked her because this is a huge help for me. I do have a small camera in my bedroom I use to keep an eye on my pup during the day. Lately, when I've been getting home and taking him for his walk, he seems more eagle than normal. Sorry if this is TMI, but he'll pee for a long time, like he's been holding it in. And he'll poop, which is weird because he usually only does that after a meal. So first walk after breakfast, the midday walk, and then the bedtime walk that comes a few hours after dinner. I decided to check I decided to check on my camera, and it seems like my roommate is only taking him out for about 2 minutes at a time, so I'm assuming running him outside quickly and then right back in. Plus days, she skips the walk altogether. I told her casually I was thinking of hiring a dog walker because I felt bad asking her to take the time out of her day so this way he can get a little exercise too. But she insisted that she was fine continuing to walk him and that she wasn't comfortable having someone in the house when neither of us was home. I told her I'm very particular about who I trust with my animals and I would never hire someone that I suspected had bad intentions. But she still said she'd rather I didn't. I decided not to confront her because I thought maybe she was just having an off week and it would go back to normal. But it's been about 2 to 3 weeks and the same things are still happening. I will confront her, but I have a feeling that even if I do, things may not change, giving her track record of being unreliable. So I'm tempted to just hire a dog walker anyway. Am I the asshole? Oof. Ooh. Oh dear. If she's already getting paid for something she's not doing, the poor dog is suffering. Poor doggo. Ugh. Got a lot of NTAs, no chance, not at all here. Yeah, definitely don't think that she would be the asshole for, I don't think she would be the asshole for hiring a dog walker. I think approaching this subject is going to be a little bit touchy because you're going to have to basically say, yeah, I've got a camera and I know that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, which is going to be like, you've been watching me? No, the camera's in my room. I just use it to keep an eye on my dog. Blah, blah, blah. Jody says she has an AITA about the window. Was that a follower submission? Something about the window. We will check it out. Ashley says the roommate reminds me of my former roommate. That sucks. Roommates are tough, man. I mean, I think, are most people friends when they become roommates, or is it just, I mean, they knew each other for 7 months. She's a nice person, but not a great roommate or coworker. Cool. Hunter Girl, thank you so much for the lightning bolts. PJ, thank you for the cake. Appreciate that. Yeah, Harley, we just finished this story about, here's the 30-second version. OP here. This is a follower submission, by the way. So OP, if you're here, let us know if you won't. Jade, you subscribe on, if you're talking about subscribing on TikTok, it's just a follow. If you're talking about becoming one of the VIPs, you hit the star on the screen that you're seeing with the live stream, and it'll give you details about becoming a paid member that way. The 30-second version of this is OP has a dog, works long days, needs to hire a dog walker, but asked her roommate if she would take her dog out for a walk a few times per day, a couple times, or maybe even one time. And when the roommate does take the dog out, it's for like 2 minutes and then right back in, and or sometimes just doesn't do it at all. She talked to her roommate about wanting to hire a dog walker. The roommate was extremely opposed. Doesn't want someone there when they're both not there. So, Don Wenna, why move in with someone you already know is a bad coworker? Robin, thank you for the love on the shirt. Appreciate that. Tina says, tell her you noticed on your bedroom cam that the dog seems to be sleeping a lot. Or, yeah, it could be when I get home, he just seems like he's behaving like he's not getting enough exercise. And with a dog walker, like that's their sole focus. So I've got to do that for him. And ultimately, OP, you know what the right thing to do here is? It's really a matter more of like, how do I approach this? Gemma, thank you so much for, you started watching on YouTube and got your partner hooked as well. Sweet. Thank you. I think it's really a matter of, OP's definitely not the asshole. It's how do you approach this conversation? Becca, thank you so much for subscribing and becoming a member of the Storm. Appreciate that. Move out, ditch the roommate, Landry says. I mean, that's, I think she's got a plan to do that eventually, but for now, Jade becoming a member. Yeah, look, see, you found it. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the Storm. We've got some new VIPs popping up here already. Glad to have you. And the VIP group on Facebook will be Glad to have you as well. I think this is really just like, is there a way to approach this conversation without it becoming a shit show? Probably not. And knowing what we know about your roommate thus far, that she's unreliable, inconsiderate, lazy, sloppy, and she has no integrity, I think you just have to go into this and accept that she's not going to be happy about it. And that's okay. She doesn't have to be happy about it. You only have to put up with it until your lease is up at the end of the summer. And then you're planning on getting your own place anyway. So who do you want pissed off here? I guess that's the question. Do you want your roommate pissed off because you can tough that out until the end of the summer? Or do you want your dog to not be getting the exercise that it needs and have to deal with that? And I don't think you want your dog to suffer. So I think it's just one of those, like, look, I can tell based on my dog's behavior that it's not getting the exercise that it needs. So I am going to hire a dog walker because that's what needs to happen. It's for his well-being. And essentially, I mean, in this case, he's like your child. You would do the right thing for your child there, regardless of whatever the hell your roommate wanted. They don't really have a say in this at all. So I've also seen, I think it was yesterday, I saw a video on TikTok where this bus was like driving around town and there were dogs waiting at the curb, and the bus would open up and the dogs would just come on. It's like the bus was picking up dogs like they were kids. Jade will send you an invite. I'll send you a direct message after the stream today, and then we'll be able to direct message back and forth, but I'll send you a link to that group right then. Roommate is the asshole and is scamming the OP and doesn't care about the dog's well-being. I think that's probably true. So maybe it's less about an invasion of privacy, like allowing another person in to their apartment when they're not there, and more about her not wanting to give up the free money that she's getting right now for not doing anything. That's entirely possible too. I think you just have to accept that your roommate's going to be pissed off about this and just be okay with it. Like, you don't have to make her happy, and she doesn't have to okay this decision. And maybe on the days when you're going to have your dog walker show up, maybe you kennel your dog like next to the door or something, so she can easily, or the dog walker can easily open up and get the dog out, and then they're not entering. There may be some kind of compromise like that, unless you don't want to use a kennel, because then you're in an even more enclosed space. But you could get one. There's something that you can do to bypass her concerns. But how much do you really care about her concerns? I guess that's the big draw here. Andy with Andy, thank that you submitted a story. It's a doozy. Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Jody, I don't actually control the submissions of the stories that we read. Candy Thunder and Tony Spark, which have now, they formed a little team and they call themselves Thunder and Spark now. And it is, there's something there. There's some kind of brand there that's hilarious, but they actually choose the stories that we read. So feel free to follow up. You can follow up through the contact form on the site and follow up with them there. Having trouble with the video, can only see the chat. What is going on there? Is anybody else having trouble on seeing the video? Nikki made it. Hey-o, glad to see you here. Jade said he's already doing doggy daycare some days. Dan, thank you so much for the love. Nisi, hopefully that stabilizes for you. I'm part of a Discord group for TikTok streamer support, and there's apparently been a lot of people having a lot of issues. So I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. Emmy, yeah, I do lives every Wednesday at 4 p.m. because I'm crazy. Becca, my videos are a godsend on slow nights. Awesome. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. So yeah, Thunder and Spark are in charge of vetting stories, reading them and picking out which ones we use for lives. And so I think we got to make a final decision on our story here. OP, you are not the asshole. That is a follower submission. So if you happen to be here, you are not an asshole. I just got to accept that your roommate's not going to be happy about it and accept that. And, you can try to make some concessions to make it easier for the dog walker to access your dog, or maybe find another doggy daycare that's open the other days. But financially, yeah, that would be tough too. So, my gut says, like, just accept that she's going to piss off, rip the Band-Aid off and get it over with. And the sting will go away. And maybe she bitches about it a little bit, but don't budge and she'll accept it eventually. And then you only have to tough it out till the end of summer and you can find your own place. So you already know your roommate's a shitty person. Screw him. Candy Thunder said she had to close out TikTok completely and then reload it, and it was fine. So, Nisi, you might give that a shot. Also, Candy Thunder in the house. Let's give her some lightning bolts to show her some love here. Ash, yes, we've only read one story so far. I'm moving slow. But welcome. Good to see you here. Angel said she had to restart and rejoin again. So you may, if you're having trouble, you may give that a shot. Nicholas, do I do voice acting? I do a lot of voiceovers for local and digital commercials. I don't do any official voice acting. Would love to, though. Certainly open to that. I don't want to get into the world where I spend all of my days auditioning for gigs because the time suck on that would be terrible. So, yeah, if the right gig came to me for a voice acting thing, I'd be super down to at least look at it, but I'm not gonna spend my life auditioning. Not gonna start into that crap. Look at all the lightning bolts for Candy Thunder here. I think we're all convinced here at the agency that you guys all love Candy Thunder quite a bit more than me, and that's 100% okay. We've also talked about Thunder and Spark doing their own spin-off thing here, so that could happen too. Okay. Real quick, before we move on to the next story, on this coming Sunday, which is April 2nd, the podcast featuring Tony Spark comes out. I actually had the edits done, so both parts 1 and part 2 are going to be released at the same time on Sunday. They'll come out on YouTube and all of the podcast audio channels, so be looking out for that. Please show Tony Spark some love with lightning bolts here, and be sure to leave him some love on those YouTube podcast videos whenever they come out on Sunday. Be looking out for him. Okay, we're going to dive right into the next one here. This one is from Reddit, and it is, am I the astronaut for canceling the birthday party I planned to throw for my wife after what she did? I, male 36, remarried after my late wife passed away. I have a son, 15. My current wife and I have been together for 2 years. She generally has a good relationship with my son, although they tend to have some disagreements from time to time. With a 15-year-old, I could definitely see that happening. My son has a background in arts that involve wood. He used to help his grandfather with his woodworking and learned how to make handmade wooden items and use them as gifts. I planned a dinner party for my wife's birthday at a prestigious restaurant. The day before the party, she was cleaning my son's room and saw what he got her for her birthday, and that was a wooden tree with mine, hers, and his name on it. She talked with him and told him while she thought it was a sweet gift, she asked that he didn't bring it to the restaurant and give it to her there. Why? No idea. When my son told me this, I just had to call her out on it. She flat out said that she thought the gift looked ridiculous and didn't want it to be seen in that prestigious restaurant. Oh, no. And in front of her guests. Terrible person. Table for one? No. I lost it on her and told her she should be ashamed of herself for saying this when my son was being sincere and thoughtful. She swore she wasn't ashamed nor embarrassed by his work and even said that she'll take the gift. She simply didn't want it to be seen there. I told her not to worry about it since I decided to cancel the whole damn thing. She went off on me, calling me unreasonable for outright canceling her birthday over such a trivial thing. I refused to keep arguing, but she threw a fit about how I ruined her birthday and made her lose respect for me and my promises. My son kept the gift since she left the house 2 days ago, and her mom has been chewing me out for my decision and calling me an asshole for treating her daughter like this. It could be that it was not a big deal and I overreacted, but my son was feeling hurt by her request. Am I the asshole? What? Okay. He's 15. So, the expectations of master craftsmanship are not, you can't expect him to be a woodcrafter from Silver Dollar City. Like that just ain't happening. And I think, we've all gotten things from our kids that were like the sentiment behind it that you love it no matter how juvenile it looks. Like that's not the part that matters about this at all. It was the sentiment behind it that was a huge deal. And he made her something. She's his stepmom and he made her something. And she asked him directly not to bring it to the restaurant. What did she say to him? She told him while she thought it was a sweet gift, she asked that he didn't bring it to the restaurant. So she didn't tell him directly that she was embarrassed. She said she wasn't embarrassed. She didn't want to be seen with it there. So she didn't want her guests to see it at the restaurant. So she was embarrassed by it. She could say she wasn't embarrassed, but in the other breath says that she was. God, how shitty is that? I mean, what kind of guest wouldn't look at that and be like, that's a beautiful sentiment. That's a beautiful statement. Like, I don't know. To do that to a 15-year-old is a really shitty thing to do. Handmade gifts are the best. I believe that. Oh, let me read some of your comments here. Beth Lou says the stepmom can go straight to ascon 1. I feel like we're heading there. I feel like we are definitely headed there. Deb agrees. Wife is ascon 1. Lots of ascon 1 statements here. Oy. Good for dad, Ronnie says. It's so hard to get the approval of a 15-year-old in a blended family, Landry says. Agreed. A teenager to do something like that shows actual sentiment? Like, holy crap. Angel, thank you for the crown. Appreciate that. Coop, I did say Silver Dollar City. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. We aren't too far away from Branson here. Jade, he made her a tree. It was like a wooden tree that had all of their names on it. Betsy Lou says, kids aren't dumb. He knows what that means. This is heartbreaking to me. Hunter Girl says the fact that he included her in the family tree is huge and she didn't appreciate it. Jill's got her astronaut in the red flag. That's cool. I haven't seen that combination there yet. Angel with the 51 bolts. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Morgan with the helmet. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Dawn says handmade gifts are so much better. Agreed. OP needs to leave before it's too late. Savage Momo. Yeah, I think, man, so there are step parents who have the same emotional connection with kids that bio parents do. This is not one of those step parents, obviously, and her being willing to do this, I think, is her creating that division. This is her saying like, sweet, but I'm not your bio mom. That's basically what she said. And the chasm that she just created between those two is one that would take a long time to heal. And, by then he's going to be moved out and they're never going to have the kind of relationship that you would hope to see between a step parent and a child or a bonus parent and a child. It's just not going to happen now because she has this kind of attitude to him. So yeah, I'm agreeing with you guys here. Cass, thank you for the lightning bolts. Gloria, thank you for the weights. Appreciate that. And Cass, thank you for the TikTok and the finger heart there. Appreciate that. We are going straight to here. ascon 1 town. Also, if you weren't on the last stream and didn't see this new animation on here, how cool is that? We've got all the new brand stuff rolling out now. Landry, it is insensitive. It's I agree. It sucks. Jade says, "Oh, that's not okay. Teens are hard anyway. Why would you make it harder?" Yeah, like it's so much. It's so difficult to form like a really good stable bond with a teenager. For any kind of parent to just openly take an axe to it is tough. I saw a statement the other day, and it might have been a comment on one of our YouTube videos, but it really stuck with me. And a commenter said, "The tree remembers what the axe forgets," and it's stuck with me a lot. And I'm sure it's a saying that's been around for a long time, but it's haunting me. And I think this is one of those occasions where he's going to remember the feeling that this created much longer than she's going to remember saying it and doing the damage. Sucks. And it is tough. I mean, Candy Thunder and I have a blended family, and I think we can both attest to, those relationships with your bonus kids take work. They take more work than the default relationships that you have with your bio kids. They take more work, and especially when they're teenagers, teenagers are on this gigantic seesaw where they love and hate you within the same second anyway. So if a teenager does something sweet for you, lap it up while you can, because 30 seconds later they're going to hate your guts. So live it up. Maribel, thank you so much for the speaker. Appreciate that. All right. Before we dive into the next one here, you guys will be excited to hear that the second Candy Thunder podcast recording session is coming up. She's coming back. Candy Thunder's coming back. So you guys didn't scare her off, and I didn't scare her off, thankfully. Guys, thank you for the lightning bolts. Appreciate that. So along with the news that she is coming back for round 2, what questions do you have for us, or for her specifically, or for me specifically, that you would like for us to cover in that podcast? We spent a good chunk of the last one addressing a lot of the questions that you guys had that you brought up during lives. And we'd like to do that again. We'd like to really dive in, because, that's really where we get into the meat of how much of an idiot I am and how lucky I am that she's still with me. So I'm sure that'll be fun. That'll be great content. So if you have questions that you want us to cover in that, go ahead and throw them up during chat here, and she'll try to keep an eye on them, or Tony Spark will try to keep an eye on them as well. And we'll do some copy pasting to try to make sure we keep a good running list of them here. Emmy, you've never seen Candy Thunder? There is one of the posts on TikTok. At least one of them is an excerpt from the podcast that she did, and podcast parts 1 and 2 from when she came on before are on YouTube still as well. So you can see her there. How did we all meet? Yeah, we covered that in the first one. But we can definitely go into that again. The short story is that we actually used to work together at Outback Steakhouse. And I can tell you this now because we covered it in the first podcast, but we worked together at Outback Steakhouse, and she was a hostess at the time. I was a server. She was 16 then. So she was in the category of the world that I just ignored because I'm like, you're 16. And then our lives went separate ways. She got married. I got married. We both had kids. 10 years later, we reconnected. So we worked together. Lives went separate ways. 10 years later, we reconnected because I was looking for somebody to play a role in a commercial that I was filming, and somebody suggested her. And we filmed that commercial, and Spark. The Bloomin' Onion, heck yeah. Back in the day, it was when they still wore all the flair too. So I had the general level of flair. I'm sure you can imagine me waiting tables. Thank you so much for the love, guys. Appreciate that. Yeah, Candy Thunder is my wife. And also, I'm much, much more so than that. She is the reason that I am here doing this today. She convinced me to start doing these stories back in August of 22. And she really is the brainchild behind all of the content that we do, and has infected Tony Spark with a love for doing this as well. He says he looks at me with a wince. 30 pieces of flair, no more, no less. So she's the driving force behind this. I'm just the dude on camera reading stuff and reacting to it. Thank you guys so much for the love and for the gifts here. We appreciate that. Oh, you're good, Ronnie. You're good. I'm sure plenty of people here haven't heard the story about how we got together. So that's a fun one. And I know there were a bunch of other questions that popped up here too. So we will try to make sure we keep track of those. No, Jenny, our last name is not, our real last name is not Thunder, but it's really close. It's really close. And if you follow us on Insta, it's actually an easy breadcrumb to follow to find out what the real names are. Ta says, I'm the voice, she's the brains. That's accurate. Jot coffee. I'm actually tripling right now. I've got Jot coffee. I've got some Monster tea, and I've got water. Penny asked if I have another job besides doing these in podcasts. Yeah. Candy Thunder and I actually run a marketing agency together. We co-own. We have a team of 6, and we do a lot of work from creating commercials, doing photography, doing video production, to building websites, doing digital marketing, doing marketing strategy, that kind of stuff. And it is a hell of a good time. Sophia, hello. Good to see you here. I will dive into the next story now. Right, meow. Meow. This one is another follower submission with a really weird title. This is, am I the astronaut for moving my mother's body? My mother passed away 4 years ago. Oh, by the way, follower submission. So OP, if you're here and want to raise your hand, feel free. You may get some questions from chat. My mother passed away 4 years ago. Both sides of my family do not get along with a long history of baggage. When she passed away, my maternal grandma offered to buy the plots in my father's name where my mom would be buried. This was done because the plot in my grandma's community would be cheaper if she bought it. All of the details were organized between my father and my grandma, and my father paid my grandma for 2 plots so my father could be buried next to her when she passed. He wanted to pay for 6 more around my mom, but Dad had not yet got the money to her. This would be so my siblings and their spouses could be buried with each other. After a couple of weeks, I, age 21 at the time, was asked to go get the deed for the 2 plots for my grandma, since my father and my grandma do not have the greatest relationship. Excuse me. When I asked my grandma, she stated she never received the deeds or money for the plots from my father. She also stated that other extended maternal family members bought all the plots around my mom's plot, so we could not be buried next to her. Mind that this is not the first time I was lied to by her. So my father called the cemetery to see how long it would take to get the deed. They stated that my grandma had the plots put in her name and was mailed the deeds a week after the funeral. My 2 sisters, ages 19 and 20 at the time, and I, for months, visited my grandma and asked for the deeds to the 2 plots and tried to pay for the plots again. We also went to both my mom's only siblings, pleading for help. The reason these plots were important is that we could not put the headstone on her grave that my mom asked for without proof to the cemetery that we had it in my father's name. The tombstone was a bench with both of my parents' names on it. About 6 months had gone by since she passed, and we were tired of asking. We just wanted closure. We found out that my grandma owned the plot but did not have any rights to my mom's body. My siblings, father, and I, we will call fam, got together, and even though we knew it would bring up past emotions for us, we would move her body. We picked a day and made it intimate between the fam. We thought about inviting my mom's family, but they showed us they were only thinking about themselves. My grandma and her siblings caught wind of what we were doing and sent every one of us threats and vulgar language about what we were going to do. They said they would get a lawyer and stop us from moving the body. I understand this was emotional for them as well, but we moved her body and relived her funeral all over. We put the headstone Mom requested on the plot, and now that my father owns these plots, he will be buried next to my mom. He was also able to buy a total of 8 plots, so our entire family could stay together. All of my mom's extended family had held the move above our heads, especially our father's head. To this day, we are all still seen as assholes by them. To this day, we are all still seen as assholes by them. So am I the asshole for moving her body? Why? No, OP, you're not the asshole. Why would Grandma play this game? I don't understand. Tony, thank you so much for the lightning bolt. Sally, you as well. Thank you, guys. Caroline says, poor OP. Yeah. Ugh. Angel says, nope. Nursey Deer says, it's all so sad. Caroline says, OP, you are not the asshole. No, absolutely not. Ashley says, the hell is wrong with that grandma? That's where I'm at. What is wrong with grandma? Why would she play this game? I got to go back a little bit and try to get some context into what the hell is going on here. She offered to buy the plots in her father's name. The maternal grandma offered to buy the plots in OP's father's name. I'm trying to figure out why she would do this. So she's lied to OP several times before, but why use this? Why use this as a control mechanism? I don't understand. Dawn, a member of the storm here, says she's actually in this same situation with her mom. What in the world? What? I don't understand what people gain from this. I mean, control, that's it? Is it just a power trip? Is this all this is? Angel says, too much asshole drama, man. Cremate me and toss me at the Alamo. Yeah, heck yeah. There's this billboard on the way to Kansas City from where we are, and it has like the $899 cremation, and every time we drive by it, she knows I'm going to say it every time, but every time we drive by it, I nudge Candy Thunder, and I'm just like, that me. Take me out in the woods and just scatter my ashes. No bullshit drama. Betsaloo says, absolutely not the asshole. Graham's, on the other hand, Grandma's being cruel. Ann says, yeah. Nursey dear, yep. By my sign name, with the Croissant Army showing up here. Books Coffee Tea says, if Dad paid and Grandma put them in her name, she stole his money. Sue her for theft. You're right. Hadn't thought about that. Sophia says, death brings out the worst in some people. Vita says, we had to move my dad's body. Not nearly as much drama, but that's definitely an ordeal. And Nursey Dear says, FYI, that's just cremation, no service. I'm fine with that. Big party. Lydia, thank you for the lightning bolts. I appreciate that. Just cremate me. You don't have to have a service. Just have a party. It's fun. It's fine. I still don't understand what Grandma gains from doing this at all. And I understand that, she wanted to exert some power and maybe just wanted to have her daughter in the plot with her family. But I think what some grandparents fail to understand is that when their children create their own families, they're creating their own families. And yes, they're part of a larger family, but the immediate inner circle there is their spouse and their kids. Like they can't try to silo them from that. It's too important. And more importantly, we knew what OP's mom's wishes were. And they couldn't carry out those wishes because they didn't have the deed in her dad's name to put the headstone that she wanted on there. Like, they couldn't execute those wishes. So in this case, Grandma was standing in the way of their mom's final wishes being executed. Ridiculous. OP, you're not an asshole. I wish I understood, what the driving forces or the motivations were for Grandma here. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Ugh. Angel talking to Candy Thunder. LOL, missing your own funeral to see T Swift like Tony. Yeah. Now, Candy Thunder said that she wanted me to take her ashes to the T Swift concert. She wants me. I mean, especially if it's at Arrowhead, it's a double whammy. Spread my ashes at Arrowhead. You can do it during a T Swift concert or any other time. Totally fine. Okay, OP, definitely not the asshole. What a shit ordeal. I'm sorry that you're going through this. Like, losing your mom isn't hard enough. Grandma had to make it torture. Definitely going excommunicado with Grandma would be a damn good idea. Yeah. People who are willing to do that kind of damage to you, you just have to create distance with. I don't think you have any other option. Ames says, plan ahead, people, please. I would agree with that. Yeah. Craziness. Yeah, I think Candy Thunder is talking about my shirt today, which she found for me. Panic Moonwalk Nick Miller from New Girl is an Etsy find as well. She finds me the coolest shirts. You do have to be careful with scams on Etsy, though. Right, Candy Thunder? You got to be careful. Check those reviews. Make sure they're not fake. All right, before we bounce over to the next one, you guys know all about the new brand rollout April 1st, and we're already dripping some of those elements out here. But right now, right meow, at dusty-thunder.com, which you can use the Linktree link in bio to get to, you will find some sticker bundles available for purchase as of like an hour ago. We just got these added on there. This is a pre-order. These will ship out on April 25th. But there are some sticker bundles on there. And it has all the new brand stuff on there. So we've got the Asconauts, we've got the new logo, we've got the Ascon scale, we've got the Ascon planets. There's all kinds of cool stuff. You guys have been asking for stickers for a long time, and we finally designed some custom ones on there. So we've got a couple of sticker packs that have die-cut stickers, and then we have a sticker sheet that has a whole bunch of them as well. There is also some Asconaut swag at dustythunder.com if you want to check that out. That is the basic Asconaut that is on t-shirts, hoodies, and that kind of thing. But these sticker packs are only on dusty-thunder.com. So we're facilitating those ourselves. And they are baller. And while you're there, you can check out the new dusty-thunder.com website, which I personally spent half of my life force on, especially the Ascon scale page. But that page gives you a really good experience for what the Ascon scale is, and gives a little bit more of an explanation to what it is. Brandy, thank you so much. The panic moonwalk. Nick, don't panic moonwalk, please. Please. Angel, we will come out with different t-shirt designs. I'm not sure how we're going to approach that yet, but we knew the most common request was for stickers. So we wanted to get that out there first, and we wanted to get it out in time for the brand rollout. We won't talk about it anywhere else until the 1st. So you guys are hearing about this first. And we literally got them up like right before the live. So you guys get first crack at them. Ollie Pop says, I've been watching Schitt's Creek just because of your Moira impressions. We love it. Heck yes. Heck yes. New Girl is fantastic. It's been a while, but whenever Navy Thunder was smaller, I'd take her up and I'd show her herself in the mirror in her foyer and do the, who's that girl? It's Navy. It's fun. Okay, so make sure you go check out the new dusty-thunder.com. It is up. We're making some changes to it still as we add things. We should be almost done with it right now, but now we do have that shop function on there and the sticker bundle, so be sure to check them out. Meanwhile, we move on to our next story, and that is the asshole of the story. This one is from Reddit, and it is, am I the astronaut for giving my mom the wrong start time for my birthday lunch so she'd be on time? My 22 female mom, mid-40s female, is one of those people who is always late to everything. I'm talking family get-togethers, birthdays, graduations, weddings, you name it. She's the one showing up late. At first, growing up, I just thought it was because she was bad with time, but as I've gotten older, I genuinely believe she likes making an entrance. I personally find it, 1, rude, and 2, embarrassing because it's not like it happens once in a while. It literally happens at every single function she is invited to that has a set time. Many family members have complained about this, but nothing ever changes. I've gotten to the point that whenever my grandma has family lunches or dinners, she'll tell mom it starts an hour earlier than it actually does, so she'll be there on time. My mom doesn't know that my grandma does this. It's a joke between grandma and me. This past weekend, so she's always been an hour late and has just never figured it out? Damn, an hour. This past weekend was my 22nd birthday. My grandma wanted to do lunch for me at her place with our immediate family. The lunch was to start at 2 p.m., but we told my mom 1 p.m. I had plans later that evening to go out to dinner with my boyfriend, so I wanted to leave my grandma's house around 5, the absolute latest because I needed to go home and get all ready. Well, of course, my mom was late. We called her at 2:30 to see where she was because, it's her daughter's birthday. She had just left her house at 2:30 p.m. and still had to pick up her boyfriend on the way to my grandma's, 30 to 35 minutes away, so none of us were expecting her to arrive until like 3:30 p.m. And she thought it started at 1? My God. She finally arrives 2.5 hours late from the time we told her, making her little entrance. We question her about it. She tells us she thought the lunch started at 2. We asked her where she heard this from, and she said my aunt, who was present at the lunch, told her. Damn you, aunt! Why? You ruined the plan. Everyone is pretty annoyed, but we all move on. Fast forward an hour later, 4:30 p.m., I have to start leaving. My mom starts getting all annoyed with me that I'm leaving so soon, and that she barely got to see me for my birthday. I told her that my life doesn't revolve around her and that she should have been there sooner. She started giving me an attitude and listing all these excuses as to why she was late. I couldn't be bothered to hear them, and I left. Later that night, she messaged me saying that I was acting like an asshole towards her, and it was rude of me to lie to her about the time the lunch started. My mom and my aunt think I'm an asshole for lying to her. My grandma doesn't think it's a big deal, and they're overreacting. I came here for some outside opinions. What thoughts do we have here? What thoughts? Angel's read this one. Oh. Sarah S. Hey, yo. Good to see you there. Rain says I have to do this with my sister. She's chronically late. Jessica has to do it with a lot of people. She tell patients who always run late that their appointment was earlier than scheduled. It's smart. I mean, make your adjustment. Jim, mom is aware of the scheme. Well, she is now because of the aunt. Nursey Deer says, start without mom. Jill says, good for you. And Lorna, not a big deal. My family does it to me. I'm always late, especially if my kids are involved. LOL. People with kids being late is one thing, because kids trying to rush out the door. There's the episode of Bluey where Chili's trying to get out the door and finally just loses her shit. And it's like, fine, we're just staying here. We're never leaving again. That's what it's like with kids. But she is, Angel got her stickers ordered. Boom. First one. Congrats there. OP is NTA. Dreadzone says they're overreacting. Megan says. Adele says, haha, my family do this to me because I'm always late. Caroline says, we do this with my grandma. She's always chronically late, not because she wants to make an entrance. So, okay. I think a lot of people are chronically late, not because they want to make an entrance, though. Her doing it because she wants to make an entrance, at least they think that's the reason. That's super shitty. Like, why? I don't know. There's fashionably late, and then there's 2.5 hours late to your daughter's birthday. Damn. Sammy, baby, thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate that. I don't understand. I don't understand anything. Now, Misty says, if you're not early, you're late. Books Coffee Tea says, I have zero tolerance. I give people 15 minutes and move on. There's, I think there's something in Candy Thunder's family line. It's something in the blood. Or maybe it's just her. But whenever we got together, she was chronically late. Not late. Not crazy late, but she was just never in a hurry to get to most things. And this was highlighted actually whenever I was planning to propose to her. And she thought we were going on this trail, like just going for a walk down in Northwest Arkansas. And I had all of this planned. I had a photographer down there waiting, like hiding in the bushes. So when we went on this trail, I actually like got the ring to the photographer, and she set them up on the trail, and then was waiting in the bushes for us to come. And I was messaging her, the photographer, like, hey, we're gonna be 15 minutes late. And then we're at Candy Thunder's parents' house, and she's just farting around, not in a hurry to get out of there quick. And she thought we were just going for a walk. So in her mind, there was no reason to get there fast. But I am sweating because, I have this timed thing, and I have a photographer waiting, and I have a ring down there, and I'm freaking out, but I can't tell her why I'm freaking out. So I'm like, dude, we gotta go. She's like, it's fine. Getting her sweet tea filled up. Her mom makes awesome sweet tea, so it's like a thing. She's got to get her mom sweet tea. She's farting around, and her dad's sitting out on the porch talking to me, and he can see that I'm stressed, and he knows why, and he's just laughing his ass off, and he's like, hey, this is what you're marrying. I'm like, I get it, but damn. So I ended up messaging the photographer like 4 times to tell her that we were going to be late. And finally we get down there and pulled it off. She had no clue, was completely surprised, but that was like the time when when the universe was like, okay, man, you are accepting this with everything you have. And absolutely, I love her to death. I wouldn't have her any other way because it's part of who she is. But it was so damn funny. So damn funny. Thank you guys for sharing the stream. Appreciate that. Caroline says, I'm always early. I have anxiety about being late. My sister, McKenna, is like that. And as kids, my older sister Bree and I, whenever we were going places with McKenna, would sing the "Time is ticking away" just to mess with her, because she has like stomach anxiety about, or had when we were kids at least. We get like stomach sick about being late places. Just got very worked up about it, and we would mess with her. We were little shit kids. Anxiety for late. Candy Thunder says, we didn't have kiddos that day. It was a chill day. It was a chill day. So we didn't, I understand. I get it. I get why she wasn't in a hurry. And, right afterward, I told her the story about why I was so stressed out about trying to leave, and she got it. But man, it was hilarious. Hilarious. Angel says, I can't sleep the night before a flight because I'm so terrified I'll be late and miss the plane. My daughter Kieran's like that. Like, she gets up way too early because she's afraid of not getting up on time. And there is like a debilitating, crippling level of that I think you have to learn to deal with. But man, it's funny. Okay, before we jump to the next story, well, let's address this story here. No, I think the family has learned to deal with her, and even mom, who's habitually late. Her mom's the one who has always told her that everything started earlier than it actually did. So this whole system started with her mom. Like, she knows why she does it that way. And no, mom being 2.5 hours late for her daughter's birthday party and then trying to say that you're rude, OP. Screw that. No, I think the way that OP reacted here was the least severe way that you could react at all. She didn't get mad at her. She didn't chew her ass out. She was just, left when she had to leave. Thank you so much to our VIPs, by the way, The Storm. If you VIPs have stories that you want us to read in one of the lives or one of the posts coming up, be sure to post those links in the Facebook group. And as as Candy Thunder and Tony Spark, who call themselves Thunder and Spark now, are pulling stories together for me to read, they will check there first. If you're not a VIP but you're interested, you can hit the star on your screen right now to get more information about how to become one. And I will jump into the next story here. Gracie Lou, I'm sorry I'm live when you're at work. However, if you're subscribed on YouTube, I do go live late at night on YouTube, either Sunday or Monday nights. Make sure you have them notifications turned on. All right, this one is another follower submission. So OP, if you're here and want to raise your hand in chat, let us know so people can ask you some questions. This is, am I the astronaut for storming out on my dad? I, 25 female, am getting married to my 25 male partner of 10 years this June. Wow. They've been together since they were 15. Crazy. We are super excited and have been very grateful for our family support in the planning and on the financial side of things. Now, it was a very loud truck. Sorry. Now, my dad, 62 male, has been kind enough to offer some financial help and is supportive of the marriage, though he has always been cynical regarding weddings in general since he and my mother, 50 female, got divorced about 9 years ago. He is convinced that most marriages don't last, and when I've brought up the wedding, he's gotten weird about it. When asked, his answer is always the same: I'm just not a big wedding guy. Now, the wedding is on my mother's property. This was the plan as of about a year ago to save money. I asked my dad if he would be okay with that, as he still harbors some ill feelings toward my mother and her current husband. I asked him when we were making the decision if he would be okay with this, and he told me, it's not about me. I can't blame you. It'll save a ton of money. I asked him a couple of times since then, and it's been fine. Fast forward to last night, we were over having dinner with my dad for my birthday, and he, out of the blue, while talking about university and the upcoming wedding, he says he needs to talk about something a little awkward, and proceeds to tell me he's not going to the wedding because he thinks he will feel too awkward on my mom's property around the family. He claims he's trying to make it easier for me, despite the fact that I said I would much rather have my father there than anything else. I was looking forward to having a father-daughter dance with him and everything. He then said he didn't want to see my mom or her husband, that it would be too awkward. I got really upset and overwhelmed, and I pointed out that I thought he could put aside this stupid feud for one day to support me and attend our wedding day, but apparently not. I grabbed my stuff and told my partner we were leaving. We left and I didn't say another word. He has not messaged me or called or reached out since, and honestly, I don't think I want him to. I'm so angry and hurt that he not only would opt out of my wedding completely, but that he chose my birthday to do it on. But part of me wonders if maybe I overreacted. I don't know. Am I the asshole for storming out? Oof. Oof. Hey, Chuck, yeah, you've seen me on YouTube Live recently, so wait. Appreciate that. It's always a pretty small crowd on YouTube Live, but it's always late at night too. So after the last one, I posted I think I posted a story on, or a video on Insta, and you could tell that it was like 1:15 in the morning when we wrapped up, and I look like this. I just finished the live on YouTube. It's really late. Ash says my father did the same thing on a smaller scale for high school graduation, and she stormed out too. NTA, Dad is ASCon 1, NTA. Leanne, you're good. She's prepping for a trip to Hawaii, so she's late here. Well, you missed the last story. It was about people who were late. A kid. Good to see you here. Dad needs therapy to help with his issues. I think this is where I'm leaning in here too. Angel says NTA. Leanne says she loves the YouTube small groups. Yeah, those are a good time. It is good. It was late. Okay. Gotcha, Chuck. Dad's making about himself. Chuck says that's my big problem here. But I'm trying to put myself in OP's shoes here and kind of see everything as if it was happening with my family. And I mean, it's been 9 years. Obviously, 9 years ago, he was 53. So I assume he and his wife had been together for a long, long time at that point. And I'm sure it stings. I'm sure he hasn't moved on. But to punish his daughter at her wedding for these feelings that he hasn't been able to get over that's rough. And I think as a dad, you have to be able to just suck it up and move past it. Now, from her perspective, OP, I think she also has to look at this and realize that, yes, although she's checked with him multiple times and he said he would be fine and blah, 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 as it gets closer, he's going to feel more and more and more and more. And being able to see that and say, yeah, I get it. But you've got to be able to put it aside and be there for me. Like, you have to. And maybe working with him to help him do that would help you both achieve your goals here. I think getting pissed at him hopefully will create enough pain that he'll see that he needs to get over this for you on your wedding day. Like, him being willing to miss your wedding day for this signals to you how much he is actually hurting by this. And yes, that sucks. And yes, that shouldn't happen. But you love your dad. And I think there's a way that you can help him move past this so that he can be there. And also he can help move past these feelings. And ultimately, if I were in that position, I think that's what I would try to do. I would try to help my dad move past this because I want him to be happy too, right? I don't want him to just suck it up and him go through an enormous amount of pain that day for my benefit. I want him to be able to have some closure there too and be able to enjoy the rest of his life, or after that day, be able to have a better life because of what he did. And I think if you approach it this way and say, look, that's not going to change. And I understand that you have ill feelings there. And I understand that you're still hurting there, but number one, of course, I need you there. And number two, of course, I want you there. But number three, if you come and you face this fear that you have or this pain that you have dead in the eyes and just stare it down and say, you will not take me, and do it anyway and be able to move past that, you're going to come out of that event stronger and maybe you'll get some closure from it. There's a possible path here for that to be a beneficial thing for him. Now, that's what I would like to do. My gut reaction if I were in this situation would be like, get over yourself. why are you doing this to me? Why am I getting punished for this crap that has nothing to do with me? But, and being this third party here and being able to have the distance between it, not be in that situation, I think allows us to see some other possibilities that are here. And I can imagine, that's your mom and your dad. And as long as they were probably together, I'm sure he's still hurting. And being 62, maybe he's probably not at a spot where he's like ready to move on, ready to date. And so he's got the idle hands issue where he has a lot of time to still hurt and to focus on that hurt instead of moving on from it. And this is a really good opportunity for him. I mean, hell, this could be the pivot point for his life, where after that he could be so much happier. He could be ready to start dating. He could be ready to start living again. It's possible. It would be tough for him, but it's possible. Shannon says, I'm a wedding and event planner. We see this quite often, especially when it comes to photos. Nursey Deer says, my mother wouldn't come to anything my dad was attending. My graduations, my wedding, grandchild. Damn. Shannon says, having a third party planner, mediator to keep everyone busy definitely helps. I could definitely see that as a possibility. Kim, thank you so much for the pretzels. Appreciate that. Bestie, thank you so much for the rose. Appreciate that. You guys are great. Okay, so Grace makes a good point here. How does the ex and her new husband treat him? There obviously has to be a conversation there. And maybe at this point, going to talk to mom to set some ground rules is the smart thing to do. I don't know. I wouldn't go to mom and say, look, he's obviously still hurting and he doesn't want to be around you guys. I wouldn't say that, but I would lay down some ground rules and be like, okay, here's what's not going to happen, to make sure that you avoid the things that could trigger him and turn this into an absolute shit show, because that's the last thing you want on your wedding day. Why is everyone so bitter? Grow up, Mary says. I think it's easy for us to say that, but, if you were married for, well, I mean, let's deal in some extremes here and say that if they got married when they were 20 and he was 53, whenever they got divorced, they were married for 33 years. Imagine being with someone for 33 years and then getting divorced and them getting married. So the fact that he has a problem with both of them probably means that she cheated somehow, and that's why he's got these hard feelings. And I get that, but it's been 9 years, but he clearly hasn't moved on, but could, and this could be the solution, or could be part of it. 9 years. So OP, you're not the asshole for storming out. I get it. I completely get it. And I hate to put you on the scale at all, but I don't know that you could have done that moment differently. So I'm not going to put you on the scale at all. I think it's where you go from this moment that will determine if you are an asshole or not. And that really is a matter of, are you going to try to find a solution to this and to make it happen so that it's beneficial for both of you? Or are you just going to be mad and do nothing about it but pout? If you're going to just be mad and be pissed when there are other options, then yeah, you probably are not a severe asshole, because I completely get it. But if you don't try to find a solution here, and it is workable, there are options, then yeah, you could be a minor league asshole, a bush league asshole. This one was titled AITA for storming out on my dad. It's tough. I mean, that's tough, but I think there's something there that could work for everybody. Just don't tell your mom that he's still hurting. It's going to give her too much power that she may abuse. A baby asshole. H-Berry, yeah. Hey, before we move to the next one, did you guys happen to see yesterday's post about the T-Swift concert and the funeral? And what are your thoughts on that? Specifically, how did you enjoy finally seeing Tony Spark on camera? He did great. He's shaking his head right now. But that full podcast, when it comes out, has our full response to that story. And there's a lot more there. And it's all good. It's all good content there. And I really enjoyed having him there because, of course, we talk about these kind of stories all the time. And he always has a lot of feedback. And he's the one who reads the most of the follower submissions that come in. So he's seen it all. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy the podcast. You're really going to enjoy it. Definitely need to go to the funeral, H-Bear says, yeah. Schmutz is here and says, I think Tony's a full-blown Swiftie. Well, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. A podcast, Win Cosby? Yeah, absolutely. We do podcasts monthly-ish, but I also have compilations of all the AITA stories that I do per batch that come out on Wednesdays on all of the podcast channels. So it's YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of the other ones. And monthly-ish, we do actual podcasts. And we've done, I don't know how many we've done. We've done a handful of them. And Tony Spark, who's part of the team here that helps select stories for what we cover here, especially for the lives, he was my most recent guest. And we filmed on last Friday. We filmed last Friday and finally have them ready to go, pending Candy Thunder's approval. Still has to finish watching part 1. It was a tense day in the office. He's Bonzo, if I am putting women down by saying she fooled around, I don't think that's exclusive to women. I'm saying it is if one partner is still hurt and one's remarried and one's not, and they've been hurt that long, there's a high likelihood that his partner fooled around. That's not exclusive to women. If it was the other way around, it would be the exact same scenario. Yeah, and I think the point of the T Swift concert thing was, and Tony brought this up. I didn't see it. But Tony brought up that there are openers. Taylor's not going to go until 8. There's absolutely a way she could make it to both. She could do both. She just didn't want to risk not being there at 5 p.m. And that's the bullshit part. That's the part that really sucks and really makes her the asshole in that story, because she had the option to do both and just didn't even want to try. Ashlyn, her podcast, the podcast with Candy Thunder, is on YouTube, but it's also on Spotify and all the other podcast channels as well. Hers came out. I can't remember. Tony, you remember when hers came out? Yeah. Oh, actually, on the new dusty-thunder.com website, if you go to the Meet the Thunders page, I actually have both of her podcasts, part 1 and part 2, on that page, so you can get to know her better. So that's an easy way to get to it. All right. We're going to go to the next story here. This is an AITA from Reddit, and it is, am I the astronaut for calling her psychotic over KFC? With a note, there's lots of F-bombs in this one. But I did a find and replace all those F-bombs with effing. So, trying to keep myself out of trouble here. T-Gecko, they're fixed tickets. So it is a, you would have your assigned seat. So she could show up late and her seat's not going anywhere. She's just going to miss some openers. Maybe. Okay. It's my stepson Christopher's 11th birthday today, and every year on his birthday, he gets to decide what we are eating for dinner. Sorry, I was buzzing. This year, he wanted KFC. He is at the after-school program until 5:30. My wife already went and got the food and had skipped out of the room to start decorating the family room for his party. He invited over like 6 of his friends, so my wife spent over $100 on this food. Well, when I wasn't looking, my dog got into the food and managed to wolf at least half of it down. I was in a panic because of the chicken bones, but my wife was absolutely furious and told me to get that effing dog out of her house. What? So when somebody uses quotation marks, but then refers to the person in third person. It makes it confusing. So we'll just say, and told me to get that effing dog out of my house. So I have to like self-edit as I go. She had to call a day in advance to get this much food, and now her son's party was ruined, as well as her being out of money because of my dog. I completely ignored her, honestly, and just rushed my dog to the vet to be seen. When I was there, she sent me this text. Do not even dare bringing that effing animal back to my house. I never wanted that dog here, and you forced me into an environment where I'm now terrorized daily by your unruly, untrained effing mutt. Your failure to train that effing animal has left this family miserable. You try bringing that dog back here, and I will proceed with filing divorce papers. I will be taking back the money you now owe me from your share of our combined finances. My only response was to tell her she was being psychotic over KFC, and she had better not touch my money because I'm not paying for that. She never responded. However, my buddy is saying I'm definitely the asshole because my wife has been vocal since day one that she doesn't want the dog in her house and has been asking me to rehome the dog since I got her. Am I the asshole? My dog is an ESA, and she's fine, by the way. What is an ESA? Oh, okay. Is that a service animal? What? I got to search it. Emotional support animal, which is a certification. My dog is an ESA and she's fine, by the way, but my wife thinks that my excuse of her being an ESA doesn't mean shit to her because she's convinced I didn't say I needed one until well after she said she didn't want a dog here. Edit, the wife came before the dog. Been married for 4 years and got the dog a year ago. Oh, emotional support animal. Okay, so when I searched ESA, emotional support animal, they have certification programs for them, or you can register them as. So I guess there are. Yeah, you can go through a registration process, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a training process in there. Interesting. This one's complicated. Nursey Deer makes a good point here. This can't all be about the dog. It's something deeper. ESA registrations are scams, Angel says. Well, gotcha. Just Beachy says the dog is trained and matched to their owner. You have to have your doctor support getting one. There's an update somewhere from OP which says the wife was bitten when she was a kid and has trauma. Oh! That would explain a lot here. Pam says you have to train the human in counter surveillance. Melissa says, I think he's a jerk because he disrespected her by getting the dog in the first place. If she's been vocal since day one and he hasn't tried to do anything about it, then yeah, he's the asshole. And I mean, this is not just a rehoming thing. This is did you try to train the dog? Like actually train the dog if it was that big of an issue. Now I can tell you that our dog Luna sometimes gets into a habit of pulling stuff off of the counter. But there's no division on that. Like Candy Thunder and I feel exactly the same way about it. If one of us was adamantly like, get rid of this damn dog, there would be a deeper issue there and we would have to figure something out. But if she's clearly been miserable. But this all came to a head because of this party, right? At the party, the dog ate half the food that she had got. She was in the other room doing decorations. So this dog ruined a special day. But is this something that could be combated with training? It may be too late now, but hell, I don't know. OP's definitely an asshole. How big of an asshole, though? You know what? Let's reference our scale and let's talk about it. Okay, this is the new and improved sexy ascon scale here. Sexy ascon scale just sounds funny together. As a reminder, this is based off the DEFCON scale, so ascon 1 is the worst, and ascon 4 is the least amount of asshole. I keep saying amount of asshole, and it still feels weird. ascon 4 is you could have done it differently. ascon 3 is you should have done it differently. ascon 2 is you definitely should not have done that. And ascon 1 is you're a terrible human. So the question, his specific question was, is he the asshole for calling her psychotic over KFC? When did he call her psychotic? Oh, okay. When she said that she was going to be, if he tried to bring the dog back, she will be filing divorce papers, and she will be taking back the money that he now owes her from their share of combined finances. Okay. And his response to that was to tell her she was being psychotic over KFC. And bitch better not touch my money. But that's when he said the psychotic thing. And that's why, or that's the tie-in for the specific questions he's asking if he's the asshole here. We've got some 3.5s. We've got some 2s or 3s. He disregarded her at every turn. He didn't train the dog. 2 to 3 range 2. Shouldn't have done that. Gaslighting and minimizing her well-spoken concerns. She was vocal about it for an extended period of time, between 2 and 3, 2s, 3s, 2 3s. If she brought up the word divorce, she's been contemplating that for a while. Blue Wolf, you make a good point there. Jim says, if she knew he was in need of a service animal, this discussion is over. Sounds like it was him for. Some 1s in here as well. Now, one is harsh. One is reserved for la creme de la creme of the assholes. That sounds wrong too, but you know what I mean. Those are the most severe assholes. If she has been vocal about this for an extended period of time, in the specific question is, am I the asshole for calling her psychotic over KFC? But isn't so the over KFC part of his question is super misleading here, because that's not what it's about. It's not about KFC. He did say that she was being psychotic over KFC. So he told her she was being psychotic over KFC. Definitely should not have done that. Does this whole scenario make him a terrible human? I don't know that he's there. Yeah, KFC is irrelevant. However, he did tie it to the psychotic statement whenever he said that to her, so I think that's why he's leaving it in the title, or he's just minimizing with his title, which is entirely possible. 4 over KFC, 2 over the entire thing. I like how you think, H-Bear. I like that. I like how you think. Nursey dear, did he just come home with an unwanted dog? Yeah, that's what it sounds like. She's been vocal about it since day one, and he got the dog a year ago. They've been married for 4 years, so. Yeah, I think what we do know right now is that he definitely should not have said what he said. I mean, if she's been vocal about it for this long, he has to understand that, like, he had to know that this was possible. And he had to accept the ire that was fuming out of his wife because he allowed it to happen. He allowed this to continue. He allowed this specific instance to happen through not training the dog or for having the dog there in the first place when she was extremely vocal about not wanting it there. So I think we can at least say that he definitely should not have done that, and he's in the 2 category. Let's make it official. I hit the button. What's happening? Here, we'll reset here, and we'll make it official. There we go. The dog should have been a joint decision. You're right. Lauren, you are correct. Soph Girl in the Caddy says you can get any animal for an emotional support pet. He could have gotten a cat if she's scared of dogs. So there could have been a compromise here. He could have tried to make the situation better, either by actively training the dog or by having some times when, doggy daycare is a thing, give her a break. He could have found other ways to make this easier, but it doesn't sound like he's budged at all. She hasn't budged at all either, but she's been extremely vocal about her needs here and her desires here, and he hasn't done a damn thing to try to make that better. So he could be approaching ASCON 1 territory, but for what we have right now, I don't think he's quite there yet. Allie, you love the new graphics. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Sarah S. officially as well. Loving the new graphics. Thank you very much. Jill says it's not just the chicken. There's a whole farmyard of problems here. It's a funny farm of problems, is it? The whole funny farm. Emotional support peacocks. What? Whenever my oldest son was 3 or 4, we were at a zoo and witnessed a male peacock putting his show on for a female peacock and then charging her. It was like 20 people gathered around because a peacock, with its feathers out, shaking them is like, it's a show. Like, of course it is. It's called peacocking. But it was putting on a show. And it's hard for me to imagine a peacock being an emotional supportive animal, but maybe that's because I'm scarred from that experience. It was pretty wild. Goodness. Miranda just resubscribed. Awesome. Continuing her journey with the storm here. Before we jump to the next one here, I wanted to let you know I have some time scheduled, I think it's tomorrow night, to actually work on some stitches and do a batch of those. So if you have some TikTok videos out there that you've seen that you would really like for us to do a stitch to, I know a lot of people already tag us in those, and we're going to be going through those to see what makes sense for us to do a stitch of. But now you know, I have some time specifically carved out tomorrow night to do some stitches. So if there is something you want me to stench? No, not stench. There will be no stenching on our content. If there's something you would like me to stitch, go ahead and tag us in it, and we will take a look at it as we're getting all of those together. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. Kendra says, I work at a bank and a customer comes in with an emotional support chicken. I don't know what to say. I have to see this. I have to see this emotional support chicken. Oh, Chunky tagged us in a video for a parody skit. Sweet. AITA pajama story. Sweet. What kind of subjects are we looking for? I think mostly it would probably be in the AITA world, but it doesn't have to be. We're willing to branch out in different areas. It just has to be a really good, juicy story. As long as it's not one of those categories that we just don't touch. And there are some categories. Sunflower, thank you so much for the love. Appreciate that. And I saw some notes here about the background and the new setup and everything. Thank you guys so much for that. We put a lot of work into trying to roll out this new brand on April 1st. And of course, a lot of it is out already. On Friday, leading into the 1st, you'll see a lot more with social graphics and all that stuff changing. But yeah, we've put a lot of work into it. So thank you for recognizing it. Just Beachy says, am I the asshole for laughing about the chicken? I gotta see it. Chuck84 says, had a driver dropping new trailers at a dealership I worked at, and he had an emotional support monkey. If they didn't fling poo, I would want an emotional support monkey. Or maybe it's like Ross's Marcel. Well, I'm gonna get like an emotional support alligator on a leash. Come on, that makes sense. He makes me feel better. What? Oh my gosh. Okay. No way, Sophia. No way someone has an emotional support alligator. There's no flipping way. I need to see this. I was going to say dinosaur, but clearly that can't happen. Good gravy. Unicorn. I want an emotional support unicorn. I'll surgically implant a horn on a horse. It's got to be like a white, very majestic pony. Emotional support unicorn. I'm down. Okay, this next one is from Reddit. It is from the AITA subreddit, and it is, am I the astronaut for not giving my fiancé a say? My fiancé doesn't drink, and he really never gave me a reason why. He just said he doesn't really see the purpose in alcohol or other substances and stuff. But it has never been an issue. He has never judged me for drinking, and he's the type of person who can have fun sober. Our wedding planner came to our apartment today to ask for details about our wedding, and my husband told her and I for the first time that he doesn't want alcohol at the wedding. This came as a shock to me, but I just told the wedding planner to hold off on that so I and my husband could discuss and plan other things. This was just the first meeting with the planner, and we are planning a winter wedding. When the planner left, I asked my husband why he doesn't want alcohol there, and he said there was no reason, and I said if there's no reason, then we're going to have alcohol there. Then he told me his mom is an alcoholic, but she has been 9 years sober. I asked if his mom asked him not to order alcohol. He said no, but he doesn't want her to feel triggered. I have noticed that his mom doesn't drink, but I thought it was a family thing. I've attended multiple family functions, most of which had alcohol present, and I have never seen her take a sip. I just think that it speaks to her self-control. I told my husband that I don't think his reasoning is valid and brought up how he is going out of his way to do this when his mom didn't even ask, and that she is amazing and that she has amazing self-control. He got upset and said I was not giving him any say in our wedding, and that if I couldn't even listen to him about this, then I should just plan the wedding by myself and have fun going to the wedding planner by myself. I feel like he is only thinking about himself. My family is big on drinking, and they are obviously going to want to celebrate me. Plus, we want a really fun reception, and I'm not sure if we can achieve that without alcohol. Am I the asshole here? Oh, and this is a hard one, too. This is tough. An emotional support tiger, Jerry. Yes, I'm down. Jill says, nope, I wouldn't go. My social anxiety needs wine. Rachel, good point. Totally manipulative to wait until the wedding planner was there to mention it. Jessica, thank you for tagging us on that TikTok video. We will look that up for our Stitch Fest tomorrow. Caroline says OP is an asshole. Who's the asshole here, though? It's his trauma from this issue, obviously, and he does not want it around his mom. Maybe a deeper dive into the conversation of, how he was affected by her alcoholism, and if this is something that caused some trauma earlier in life for him, and that's why, then it's a different issue. Then it's not about him wanting her to not feel triggered. Then it's about him being uneasy about it being there because of what he went through before. Old act Nick Gilmovi, thank you so much. In Liverpool, UK. Love having you here, man. Thank you. She's absolutely the asshole. People will drink in the parking lot. You're right about that. I mean, people will figure that out. Calling him her husband is odd. Oh, yeah, I see it. I didn't really think about that while I'm reading it, but yeah. Sunflower says it's kind of weird they can't have fun without alcohol. Thought about that too, but I think if people are used to having alcohol at these types of functions, then it's going to be a little weird for them to not have that. Helen says it sounds like he has something to hide. Angel says the mom attends other functions with alcohol present, so this point isn't valid, which is why OP said what she said, but I think it might go deeper than that. I think this is more about his concern than his concern for her. This may be more about him. Not that he ever had an issue. Sonia, thank you so much for the taco. Appreciate that. Loopy Loose says, ask his mom what she thinks about it, which is a damn good idea. I think. But I don't think he can do that. I don't think she can do that without talking to him first. I think that has to be a joint thing, because if she goes behind his back to do that, then it's another thing to fight about. Cash bar. That's a good idea, Raina. Is she recovering? She's 9 years sober, so I think she's stable. Sophia says, I was too busy finding the alligator and missed the story. The OP's fiance wants a no booze wedding, wants a dry wedding, because his mom, he says that his mom, she's 9 years sober, but he doesn't want her around her so she doesn't feel triggered. But she's at other events that have alcohol there and hasn't been triggered. So OP said his argument is invalid and said, we're going to have booze there. And he got mad and said, well, if you aren't going to listen to me on this, just plan the whole damn wedding without me. I thought he was going to say, if you're not even going to listen to me on this, why are we getting married? But he didn't. He said, just plan the whole damn wedding without me. Maybe compromise with wine. That's possible. I mean, I think if you're going to do it, it's you do it or you don't, right? Sophia found the alligator. Heck yes. Send it to me. I'll stitch that. Just Beachy said, we had this happen and the mom decided not to come to the reception. She knew her limits, which sucks. You don't want that to happen. Ronnie, you're right. Him mentioning it before the wedding planner got there would have been a smart move by him. Cammie says, I think he's the alcoholic and won't admit it. Entirely possible. But they've been together for how long, did she say? Nope. There's obviously a deeper issue with him. I don't think this is as much about his mom as he's leading her to believe it is. I think either this is him afraid of reliving some past trauma that was caused because of her alcoholism earlier in life, or he may have had an issue himself. But I think it's worth a deeper dive into it to figure out what it is. But this is a snapshot. Wedding is a one-time thing. For the rest of your lives, are you going to have to tiptoe around this issue, or is it just this one-time thing? Maybe start the conversation with that question. Like, is this going to be this way forever, or is it just this wedding? And you shouldn't have to have booze there to be able to have fun, but you want people to be able to relax. And if there isn't booze there, it's going to become a conversation. Because it sounds like at least OP's side of the family here is expecting that. So if it isn't there, you're going to get a whole lot of questions. And you're going to have some kind of answer. Control issues, maybe. Nurse, you missed it. Your phone died. It's OP wants. I was way behind. Sorry, I'm scrolling back up here. OP wants booze at the wedding. OP's fiance does not want booze at the wedding because his mom is 9 years sober, formerly an alcoholic. So I don't know. Schmidt says weddings plus booze equals party time. Sarah S. officially thinks it's a trigger for him. They definitely need to talk about it. I think the bigger issue here is that, there's clearly something more going on for him. And OP, it's not just this one event in question here. It is the rest of your life. And getting to the bottom of what the root cause of this issue and him saying it when he said it in front of the wedding planner instead of before is going to be something that you're going to have to face, or it's going to cause problems for the rest of your marriage. So you have to dive into this and figure out what the issue is. I don't think this is one of those hills to die on. This is one of those, I'm glad we're learning about this now. Let's figure it out and find a solution to this so that we can not have to worry about this for our married life. Forget the booze, just get special gummies, Trishy. Yeah. Booze shouldn't be the basis on which determines if you have fun at a wedding. I agree. However, if OP's family has the expectation that booze is going to be there, and if it's a sensitive subject, why there isn't booze there, if not having it there will create discussion, will create questions, and they've got to have some kind of reason for it. I don't even think the topic of this conversation needs to be right now, like, do we or don't we have booze there? I think the topic of the conversation needs to be like, what's really going on? What is it? Is it something that happened to you that you're like, you just don't want to feel that on this day, and just having booze around period makes you feel a certain way? Like, what is the issue that you're dealing with here? Because it is something that could affect the rest of your marriage. Bill Maris in Puerto Rico, always listening while you bake. Awesome. Schmidt says it's a wedding enhancer. Daniel asked a question about how I do my beard, and I know I've talked for a long, long, long time about doing a beard how-to video, and I actually filmed the process like yesterday morning while I was doing my beard. I just got the phone out and filmed at least that part. I need to film the next part where I actually explain it, but I'm going to have that video very soon. Just Beachy went to a religious dry wedding, and one car in the parking lot was the designated bar car. It could come to that. I have a feeling he would be opposed to that as well, but Katie, thank you so much for the beard love. Appreciate that. I got to process. All right, we are going to dive into the next one here. It's 5:40, and Tony Spark, being the brilliant, badass genius that he is, put a bonus story in here for us in case we were running a little ahead of time. And we're there. We are to the bonus story. Shocking. Summer, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah, there's something bigger going on there. Soulless Robin, I'm not sure. I actually don't receive those stories. Part of the team does. So you can feel free to submit a follow-up on the website to make sure that it was received. Lucy, I keep cutting out for you. I'm sorry. Is anybody else having any issues right now? I know a lot of people, we hear a lot of TikTok live issues for individual users. It's never like everybody. Jerry says, get a party bus for outside the venue. There you go. And just let it do laps around the parking lot. It makes it more fun. Yeah, so we're having issues for some people, and some people we aren't. So ticky-tacky. My goodness. All right, we are to our final story of this live. This one is from Reddit, and it is, am I the astronaut for being mad my fiancé won't cook for my son? I, 29 female, have been with my fiancé, 34 male, for over a year now, and together we have 3 kids, 2 from his previous relationship and 1 from mine. We have been learning how to co-parent, but it hasn't always been easy. For context, my fiancé loves cooking. It's his passion, and he has always done the majority of the cooking, especially dinner, ever since our first date. His 2 kids, 4 and 6, also love the majority of the things that he makes. My son, 8, however, is a very picky eater. I know it's partly my fault for not knowing how to cook, and for being a single mom for so many years, I just used the easy way out. Well, when I met my fiancé and saw how bad our diets were, lots of chicken nuggets and ramen, I really wanted to make it better. However, the changes have not been easy for my son. There's been a lot of complaining and nose-turning at the new foods for the last year. And it's not always anything fancy. Even spaghetti he refuses to eat. This is where things got frustrating. Tonight, my fiancé was going to cook enchiladas for dinner, and my son, as usual, didn't want it and asked for nuggets. My fiancé basically threw up his hands while prepping dinner and has now said that he will no longer cook for this household because he is tired of his food being snarked and pushed away. He says I can do what I want for my son, but he will no longer be disrespected. I am extremely upset, and all I see is red. Granted, I know he doesn't have to cook for me, but I have fallen in love with his food, and I feel so damn frustrated. Am I the asshole, or is he right? Edit. I don't just let my son be a complete uncontrolled brat to my fiancé. If he whines or gets bratty, he is punished or grounded. Every meal, I hype up my fiancé's food, hoping he will want to eat it too. And that sometimes works. And even if he doesn't take much, I'm sure he tells my fiancé thank you for cooking. And I'll make him apologize if he says something disrespectfully. I do realize my fiancé is coming into a situation he didn't create. Oy vey! A lot of if kid goes hungry, he'll eat. Kid could have sensory issues. It doesn't always come down to being picky. That's entirely possible. Jessica says, what the hell? This is an extremely immature reaction from the fiance. I would agree with that. It's not like how does the kid, not wanting to try the new food equate to disrespecting the fiance? I think he's taking it way too personally. way too personally. Also, Candy Thunder and I have actually talked a lot about this because, you know, my mentality heading into our relationship was, yeah, eat it or go hungry. However, I've learned quite a bit from her and from her side of the family, and her brother actually. If Candy Thunder, if you're still here, you may have to help me out with what it was. Like he would, if the meal was anything that he was uncomfortable with, which was often, he would make like a bologna sandwich, and was that way for a long time. And they let him do it. It's like, you know, if you don't like it, make yourself something. As long as you're eating, cool, whatever. It's got to be something nutritious. It's not like you can just get crap. But now, like, he's probably the most adventurous eater in their family. So it's not something that sticks with him forever. I think it's something that kids grow out of. And it could be a sensory thing. It could be just something doesn't agree with them. And I'm not saying that this is the case, but a lot of times when kids have an extreme dislike of a food, or they don't like how a food makes them feel, it could end up turning into an allergy later on, like an actual allergy. And, you know, we saw this with my youngest boy, Brady. He got to the point where he didn't really like chocolate. And I think it was because a lot of the times, you know, the chocolate that he would get at like Easter or Christmas and that kind of thing could have had some peanut butter in it, and come to find out he had a peanut allergy. So he knew, it's like he knew that he didn't like it. For some reason, he didn't like the way that it made him feel. So this is tough, and I know a lot of people treat this differently, but it's definitely not. It's no reflection on the fiance, and him taking it so personally is not the way that should go at all. And he's going to have to get over that because, come on, man, like he's not a Michelin chef. I'm guessing this is a recreational thing. So yes, it's frustrating with kids who are picky eaters, but I don't think this is any kind of reflection on how he feels about your fiance, OP. OP, your fiance punishing you for this and refusing to cook for you is just stupid. Like, Brozo's being a diva about his cooking, in my opinion here. Yeah, he can refuse to cook something else for them. But it's like, what's for dinner is what for dinner. If you don't like it, get something else. Chunky, thank you so much for the lightning bolts. Appreciate that. Teamwork, that's what they need more of. I would agree with that. There's obviously a division in there that sucks. I'm sure there's too many changes for the kid, and food is another big one. That's entirely possible. It could be more of a psychological thing about just everything being different. And, you know, kids thrive on routine, and whenever that's changed up, it's really tough for them. Kids are picky autistic kids even more picky. Your daughter is autistic, Ronnie. I imagine so. I imagine, you know, the sensory issues that come along with that are really tough. Oh, man. Eternal Phoenix with the 84 lightning bolts. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And Silver with the 40 roses there. Eternal with the 5 donuts. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that so much. Thank you for keeping us going here. Yeah, I can definitely see it both ways. And I think this comes down to there's a difference of philosophy. Not just in this relationship, but in general. And I think you guys have to come to some kind of agreement, and he has to quit taking it so personally. Like, it's not about him. It's him saying no to the food is not saying him no to your fiance. He can't take it personal. But you guys need to figure out some kind of plan and agree on it and have some teamwork there. And he can't punish you for that. He can't punish you for that. That's him getting butthurt about it in the first place really bothers me. And there are some red flags there that I think you're going to have to address, because it's not about him. It's not about him at all. Family counselor, hopefully it doesn't come to that. Callie, hello. Emmy says, my daughter's a picky eater and I let her help with dinner, and she's much more receptive to eating and trying it out. There's an idea. Maybe try to get how old is he? 8. Maybe try to get your 8-year-old involved with the cooking process. That could be a bonding activity for him and your fiance, and it could make him more prone to try the food out. That could be a damn good idea. Miss Mama says, throat punch him? That escalated quickly. Brick, where did you find a trident anyway? Manders, thank you so much for the lightning bolts. Appreciate that. K-Babe says, I got flack a lot for making different food for my two girls than what my husband and I eat. And that's how I felt about it at first too. Like, if they're never going to branch out if they don't try what's in front of them, if they at least don't give it a shot. Like, that's how they learn to expand their palate, is by trying different things. But, Candy Thunder has educated me a lot on this. And her brother ate bologna sandwiches for years when there was something he didn't want to try, and is a super adventurous eater now. I do think it is something that you grow out of. And as long as they're eating something to sustain them, I think that's all that matters. It's tough though. You guys have to come up with some kind of game plan to do this together. And I think that's the most important part. But the idea about getting him involved with cooking is a really good idea. I really like that. Trishy, thank you so much for the cat paws. Appreciate that. I think it's a really good idea. He's acting worse than my 6 kids. I make 3 meals between 6 kids. Oh, Ruth, thank you so much for the hat and mustache. Well, we couldn't get through a stream without getting a hat and mustache. I didn't see it pop on. Otherwise, I would have given my cowboy voice there. Cooking as a family is a really good idea. Not growing out of that could. Oh, he's not growing out of that. Fiancé? Yeah. I don't know. It's been an interesting journey for me where, my eyes are open to that, and also, not stressing so much, finishing what's on your plate, because that's a bad behavior. That you don't realize till later on in life. You keep finishing your plate, then you end up overeating a lot too. So there's just a lot of things that I think are assumptions, or the way that we were brought up, that we just automatically hardwire into how we raise our kids. And we're just learning more and more and more about what's possible and what the ramifications of those behaviors are. So, fold in the cheese. There you go. Okay. Quit saying fold in the cheese. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, just to recap some of the notes that we had real quick here. Well, I guess we never made it a formal decision here. The specific question was, am I the asshole for being mad my fiance won't cook for my son? No, I don't think you're the asshole for being mad about that at all. Your fiance is having an extreme overreaction and taking this way too personally, and punishing you for this is part of that overreaction. And I think you guys just have to talk this out, and you have to come up with a plan to do this together. I do think pitching the idea of getting him involved with cooking is a great idea to help them bond. And also, he's less likely to take it personally if he still decides not to try it. Eterna, thanks so much for the cat paw. CC, thank you for the love of the Nick Miller shirt. Love some new girl. I think we're really close to finishing it, moving on to our next comfort series. Okay, so OP, you're not the asshole here. This is a tough situation, though. You guys just have to teamwork through it. Recap of notes. Candy Thunder's podcast round 2 is coming up. So if you have some questions you would like us to cover, be sure to comment with them now or on anything, and we'll see those and we'll pull them up. Stickers are available on dusty-thunder.com, and I totally forgot, but I actually had a preview of those pulled up. So this is the sticker sheet. So each one of these individual items is actually a peel off from that sticker sheet. So that's one of the sticker packs that we have available on dusty-thunder.com. Also, VIPs who are already part of the VIP group, make sure you post links in the Facebook group to stories that you want us to cover. I know a couple of you have done that, but it makes the story farming process for Thunder and Spark quite a bit easier. So start doing that more, please. Also, the Tony Spark podcast comes out on Sunday. Get ready to show some big love for that. We had a really good time doing it. And we'll be pulling the Stitch content together tomorrow night. So if you have something that you would like us to stitch, try to tag us between now and then, and we'll make sure that we set it aside to do that stitch session. We won't get through them all, I'm sure, but I'm going to do what I can tomorrow night and try to start including that as part of the weekly process to give you more content. So I think that is what I have here. Guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. I appreciate it. It's 5:55. Even with the bonus story, we came in a little early. Look at that. Sometimes I just read fast. And also I see some messages sometimes that are like, next story, next story, next story. And I'm like, okay, I'll get there faster. I'm sorry. We was having fun, but I'll read the next story. I'm really sorry. So I try to move a little bit faster if I see stuff like that. Oy vey. Yeah, we had a good time today, though. Thank you guys so much for being here. Remember, if you're not subscribed on YouTube already, please go subscribe and turn on your notifications. And you, if you're a night owl or are in a certain part of the world where the time makes sense, you'll get the notification of me going live there on Sunday nights or Monday nights. It's never a sure thing. So it happens when it happens. Just based on how crazy the weekend and how quickly we have the story batch together and lots of different stuff. So YouTube, turn on them notifications and you can come hang out with us on live there. Dusty-thunder.com is the new website, and we won't be saying anything about these sticker packs anywhere else until the 1st. So you guys have a head start on jumping in and grabbing some of those. And again, on Sunday, the Tony Spark podcast is out on YouTube and all of the audio podcast channels like Spotify and Apple Podcast and all that stuff. So thank you so much for being here and having fun with me today. New VIP members, I'll get a message out to you after the stream ends to get you invited to that VIP Facebook group. You guys are the bestest. Have a great night. Have a great rest of the week. I'll see you with some normal post stuff tomorrow, and I'll see you on the next live, either on YouTube Sunday or Monday night, and here next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Central. See you next time. This song I found because I was in a music funk. Like sometimes you just have to skip songs because it just doesn't fit your vibe. Finally hit Sabotage by Beastie Boys, and I was like, all right. It fit my vibe, and then I was like, I need something with a similar vibe as like the in-between song for the podcast. So I went and found this. It's pretty close. It's very Beastie Boys-ish, right? Too fast this time? Was I just moving too fast? Was I reading too fast? Am I going too fast sometimes? Does that happen? Do I need to slow down? Leave a comment, let me know. I need to end this with a panic moonwalk out, huh?